The Butterfly Effect is a supernatural movie with a twist in that it's really dark, edgy, and gritty. And it's very controversial, and it goes places that no other films go. And when we set about writing anything, the first litmus test we have is, have we ever seen this in a movie before? And if we have, we back off and go in the completely different direction. And we try to come up with the most really cool, mind-blowing experience, roller coaster of a ride film we could come up with.
These guys are incredible writers, and the way that they put this story together, there's so much to keep track of when you get into something like this, and they really, it makes sense.
The great thing about all the different layers of the script is that it's so complex and thick that you're never quite sure what's happening, and I love that.
The junkyard scene was really fun to shoot because the kids are totally into it, and it's really violent. It's the kind of thing where maybe half of it made it into the movie because there were so many kicks to the ribs and punches and swinging people in the face with a 2x4. I think one of the biggest gasps we get in the movie is when 13-year-old Kaylee gets hit with a 2x4, and the whole audience, you can just count on this. It's just really violent and unexpected, and it's really scary because you just watch these kids and their natural instincts are so perfect. The kids were just amazing.
Everyone has done something that I went, wow, I had no idea that was coming, or you had no idea. And I hope in the same light that I'm doing that as well, and that people are gonna go, wow, I had no idea this kid could do this stuff, you know?
As an actor, this is like a dream role to play 4 different characters. I come back as a sorority girl, as just a heroin junkie prostitute, and then the natural sort of hippie girl. And it's great. It's been so much fun.
Chaos theory, broadly defined, is extreme sensitivity to initial conditions. That given a very small difference in initial conditions, the same system will behave after a very short time totally differently.
I think the chaos theory in psychology is not that different from a physics viewpoint, except that we have the human component. Chaos basically says, can we make a long-term prediction of any kind of a system?
Which brings us to the notion of the butterfly effect, a seemingly insignificant event that causes a chain of events over time that create unpredictable outcomes. Well, all of life is unpredictable, but who's to say what is an insignificant event?
Now you'll see a type of motion that's very clearly unpredictable, irregular. This is chaotic motion. So we start off with the pendulum undergoing what looks like initially somewhat regular motion. And then all of a sudden, the lower ball starts sinking, and this enables the upper one to swing over the top into circulation. And very rapidly, in less than half a minute, the bottom pendulum and the top pendulum separate and do their independent dances. Again, I want to emphasize that what we are looking at are 2 independent motions of identical dynamical systems that were started with very close but not exactly the same initial conditions. And over a very, very short time, only over a few swings, they diverged completely from each other in behavior.
Without a doubt, chaos is a natural state of affairs of human beings. We often think about control in our lives. As a matter of fact, the existential viewpoint is that we're not born, but we're thrown into the world. We're thrown into a rather chaotic world. Now, chaos I'm using here more as a lay term of chaos, not as a chaos in terms of chaos theory. But we're thrown into a rather chaotic, frenzied, wild, unmanageable state. And then we have to make choices moment by moment in order to make sense out of the chaos into which we're thrown.
I think the allure of time travel stories has to do with the illusion of omnipotent control that we all get to use as a defense against helplessness in a world where we can't really control the outcome
The simplest mode is just to go to sleep and wake up in 100 years, like the man in the very early after 100 years. The best known film of this type is Sleeper, where Woody Allen goes to sleep and wakes up in the far future and all the things that happen.
The other way to get back or forward in time is with a machine. And usually time machine narratives rely on a concept of time almost as a road. And where you stop your machine is like an off-ramp to that year or to that moment in time. It's linear.
The most interesting ones and the commonest ones are from the present into the future, because we like to see what may or may not happen in 1,000 years from now. And that's the films like The Time Machine and a lot of other of the scientific ones. I mean, there's a whole genre of time police movies. There's a film called Time Cop, for example, where they have to have police going through time back and forth to make sure things don't get changed because of a thing called the time paradox, where you can make things all different if you're not very careful. You step on a butterfly at the age of the dinosaurs, and in our time, you know, the butterflies are the only things alive.
Films like Minority Report are based on the idea that the future is inevitable, that what you see, or like in that instance, if someone's going to commit murder, they're going to commit murder no matter what you can do to change it in the past. And that is another aspect of time travel stories, where there are characters who are struggling to change the future or change the present, but fate or destiny exists. The time stream is inevitable. No matter what you do, if someone is crossing the street and is going to get hit by a car on August 1st, there's nothing you could do to stop it. It was meant to be.